Hello. Another black box video. I'm about to say series. Mm, well, hey, could be. Alright, so today I want to talk about my military experience, well, how it started off, me joining the military. And, sorry, I'm listening to some music, got my earphones on. But, yeah, so I was in the military, I was in the Army for 5 years. I joined right after high school, well, when I turned 18. I graduated high school when I was 17. And in August, I turned 18. So I could have joined right after high school, and I think graduation was in May. I think it was in May 2000. Oh, double O. Eleanor Roosevelt. Yeah. All right. But, so the recruiter, oh my goodness, listen, recruiters, I know the recruiter that I had, I can't remember his name, but if I find some paperwork, his name is on there because I still got all that stuff. But this recruiter, he was like on my ass. Like, I guess that's how they do. I don't know, but I know mine was like calling me constantly when I just called just to get information. And when I say he called like every day, when you going to come in, when can we meet? And I'm just like, what's the basic information? What do I have to know? Just send me some stuff. But this dude was persistent. And obviously it paid off because I ended up joining. But I'm making love to you as you was making what's the morning after. Alright, that was that Trey Songs. Alright, so what was I about to say? What was I saying? Alright, so yeah, so basically, at the time, in the 12th grade, I'm a senior, and I wouldn't mind continuing education, quote unquote, and going to college. What I really was interested in was fashion design, and the college that I was applying to was the Art Institute of Philadelphia. Was inquiring to Syracuse also, but needless to say, I didn't get in neither one of them. But while I was working at Pizza Hut part-time, of course, in the 12th grade, after school and on the weekends. So my manager there, he was saying like, okay, Demetra, if you staying in town in Maryland, of course you can be full-time if you choose to, stay here in Maryland. You can be full-time, you get a raise, and you could be a shift supervisor. So mind you, I'm 17 years old at the time. I'm like, okay. And I've been working there for a minute. Like, I don't even know. I'm going to say probably 5-6 months at the time. Yeah, probably about around that time. So I was like, well, I don't mind doing this full time. It's not that hard. I know how to take orders from, about the pizza. I was showing how to do the pizza. And then also before all of this, my store manager was showing me the closing procedures, like what to do, how to calculate this, how to do this, how to count the money, put the money in the safe, how to do, I was already being trained, I guess, but not officially trained, but just, I was just showing the ins and outs of it. So I was like, it ain't nothing. So anyways, at this time, like, mind you, I'm a senior. I was still really indecisive of what I really wanted. And to tell you the truth, I really didn't want to continue education. I just want to like take a break, really. But of course, I know I need to do something. So, sorry, I'm getting. I'll chill down, close this window a little bit. So, okay, so how I joined the military. All right. So it was like so spontaneous because I am not the type, and I was not the type to be like, oh, the military, the army. And we had like ROTC at our school, and they would wear the uniforms and do like a little bit of step and stuff like that. And it was interesting, to watch them. But I was like, nah, that's not me. I couldn't be saluting people and like that seemed like too much pressure, like that was just me. Like I was not interested in no kind of military service at all. It ain't even crossed my mind. I'm talking about no. I mean, when I was younger, yeah, played with GI Joes and stuff like that. But growing up, not growing up, but like high schoolish, nah, it didn't cross my mind. So one day I'm at work at Pizza Hut, and we keep the radio on, so listen to the music. Then commercials came on, of course, in between time. So this commercial about the military, the army, would come on, periodically. But this one particular evening, somehow it really like caught my attention. Like a voice in my head was like, "Listen." So the commercial, was like, "Hey, join the army." Um, and like 1-800-ARMY or something. I don't know, but the commercial was on and it's talking about the army and the number to call. So I'm like, So at that second, I'm like, you know what? Why not? Let me just do that. And then, so even when I said it to myself, I was like, what? Did I just say that? Like, I'm not interested in none of that. But I was guided to call the number like within the next couple of days. And that's when the recruiter, talked to me or whatever. And then, yeah, like I said, he was on my ass. So I end up telling my mother about it, because the dude, was calling the house. I ain't had no cell phones. This wasn't none with no cell phones or nothing. This was back in the day. This is in the 2000s. I mean, we had cell phones, but I ain't had no cell phone. We had house phones. Majority of the time was house phones. So, my mother ended up telling my mother about it. My mother was like excited, like, yeah, you should do it, you should do it. And I'm just like, like, that's my sound. But, so my mother about it. So, the guy was saying that he would have to talk to my parents or, my guardian anyway. Since I'm 17, like I can't just sign up. My guardian would have to sign me up if I wanted to do it before I turn 18. So basically, we set up an appointment. My mother set up an appointment. He came over, within a couple of days in the evening time. So I remember we all sitting at the dining room table. It was me, the recruiter, and my mother. And so, he was saying, what it can be and the benefits and everything like that. And so, of course, my mother was excited. I mean, I wasn't not excited, but I wasn't like upset. It was just like, okay. So, the main thing is the guy was like, if you want to do it, you can sign up now. You can leave within 2 weeks and go to basic training, or you can wait until you're 18 and then you sign up for yourself. Like I signed my own name on the dotted line. Like my parents don't have to do it. So of course I'm like, look, I'll wait till I'm 18. I'll wait till I'm 18. I don't want my parents signing me up for this. This is me. This is my life. This is my choice, my decision. So basically, yeah, waited till I was 18, and once I turned 18, of course he was still being in contact with me throughout this time, the recruiter. So yeah, I remember that night, the day that I left, we had to go to Fort Meade. I mean, and everything was new to me. Mind you, I live with my family. I stayed in Maryland, Virginia, D.C., the DMV area most of my life. Really ain't traveled too much, outside of them parts, really. So when he came, picked me up, in the evening times, probably was like 6 o'clock or so. I don't know what time it was. It was still light outside during this time. And I remember my mother and my sisters was coming in the house maybe 15, 20 minutes before the recruiter was picking me up. So they had a cake, you know, they had some balloons and all that, you know, to wish me off, to see me off and stuff like that. So I ain't even get a piece of the cake. Like I ain't even taste the cake, and that cake looked good. I can't exactly remember how it looked. But I think probably had some army colors, some greenish, brownish, you know, kind of colors in it. But I ain't even had time to get like a piece of the freaking cake, you know. But anyways, so so this probably gonna be another video also, like, cause I ain't trying to make this too long. But what happened? So the recruiter picked me up. We drove to Laurel area, yeah, like near Fort Meade, and it was like hotels. And it wasn't just me, it was like a whole lot of people. Oh no, did he take me to Fort Meade that day? So I don't know, I can't remember. I know he drove me to Fort Meade one time, and I seen, you know, the base, and, you know, met some people that I'm gonna be working with and everything like that. But I remember, yeah, I think when we left the base of training, I don't know, like, listen, this was years ago, but I know I ended up staying at a hotel in Lower Maryland with other people. It was like a whole lot of other people who was leaving too, like teenagers, older adults. We all like renting out, I guess they renting out this whole hotel, you know, room. And I ain't gonna say hotel, it was a motel. So the doors was like on the outside. So you can imagine what people was doing, you know. But anyways, yeah, so and the next morning we took a bus and then we went to this recruitment station. Can't really remember where it was at, but I know it was in Maryland. The recruitment center, probably somewhere in Baltimore. And that's when I talked to a liaison. At this time, the recruiter, you know, he done his job, you know, he did what he had to do. So you know, they got one by one. So everybody, like, everybody knew. I know I was new, so I'm like couldn't really ask the people how I was with, like, what's going on, like, what's the procedure, what's next, you know, because they knew too. You know, they looking dumbfounded and just going with the flow. Also, how I was, but I was just excited. I was like, okay, this is a new experience for me, you know. So talk to the liaison in the room, and the liaison was telling me, you know, the bonuses you can get, and like my MOS, that's your job title, is a 92 Alpha, and it's my job title is automated logistical specialist. So it was more so of a maintenance. I worked at a maintenance company, like on vehicles and like military vehicles and stuff like that. I was a supply specialist. So, you know, I stayed like in an office, and if people, the mechanics, if they needed a part to be ordered, or if they needed a part in the back, I would go and get it and, you know, do the computer thing. If something needed to be ordered, I would order it, part numbers, VIN numbers, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, but it was maintenance, more so dealing with maintenance for the vehicles, any kind of military vehicles, you know. So so I was like, all right. So I remember I'm sitting in a chair at the desk, you know, with the liaison person, and he talking and he's saying, yeah, this is it, this yada yada yada, this is what you're gonna be doing. You're gonna be going to where'd I go? Basic training, Fort Jackson basic training, and Fort Lee for your job training. So he was explaining to me all this, and I'm signing papers and everything. And then, so the door is like right behind us. Like I see the hallway, you know, the door was open. It was like a room with like, I don't know, a whole lot of cubicles inside. But I'm facing the door, you know, and the guy facing me. So I seen people in the hallway, you know, walking, going in one direction, like a lot of people going in a certain direction. But me and the guy kept talking. And I think we was finished with, you know, my whole process, but me and him were just talking about regular stuff. I don't know, family or something. So so maybe about 5 minutes later, um, I think somebody came and told him, like, hey, you know, they doing a ceremony. So he was like, oh, they is? And he was like, oh, come on, you supposed to be in a ceremony. Like, he was talking to me, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'm walking down the hall, and it's like other, like these people already in the service. So these like older adults, liaisons and sergeants or whoever, they walking all behind me and some in front of me, like guiding me. Well, not guiding me, but like, well, yeah, I guess guiding me, like walking with me, in front of me, around me to go inside the room. It was just like, come on, you gotta go. So it was like they're all around me, you know. I don't know, kind of like a protection kind of thing. So I'm walking down the hallway and they around me. So we go inside the room and the door opens. So it's this room that got carpet on the floor. It looked like, how like the president, when they be doing the speeches and they have like the flags behind them and like the Oval Office, that's what it's called. How the president had the Oval Office. Well, this room kind of looked like that. But it wasn't it, it kind of had like that atmosphere, that feeling of it, had a podium and everything. So I walked in a room, people standing up against the wall and everything. So it was the people who signed up to be in the military. They all like, I guess, information like spaced out. I'm gonna say it's probably was like 50 of them, I don't know, in this room. So my liaison person, he was like, just stand right here, just stand right here in the back, just stand right there. So I'm like, all right. So I get in the room, everybody got their hand up, like I got swearing in or something. So everybody got their hand up, and then the guy on the podium, he's like, okay, repeat after me or something. They was already repeating after him, and he was saying something, and he was like, push your name right here. Basically, people were swearing in, doing the oath, the swearing. So I came in at the end, I raised my hand, and I think I only was saying the last sentence. I don't even know what they was talking about in the beginning, what the beginning sentence was, any of that. I don't even know. But I know I came up in there in the last sentence. I did, raise my hand. And it was just like, I can't remember what the last sentence was. But that's it. So basically you could say I missed the whole ceremony, but so everybody after that, everybody cheering. First was like, yep, welcome y'all soldiers in the military, military army, United States Army, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So everybody cheering and clapping. I'm cheering and clapping. I'm just like, oh my goodness. But I felt like I missed out, like I wasn't feeling like complete because I'm just like, I just missed the whole thing. But I'm just like, oh, well, whatever. I ain't getting in trouble. My mom was like, am I going to get in trouble? So am I going to say, hey, give me some push-ups? I don't know. But ain't nobody do that. But, I was excited. Everybody was cheering and excited. They had, desserts and stuff for us and whatever. And then they said we would be leaving to go. I think all of us, well, no, not all of us. Most of us was going to Fort Jackson. If not, probably the majority of us was going to Fort Jackson in South Carolina for basic training. So, so yeah, so basically, I don't know, we waited. I think it seemed like a long wait, for us to leave, to get there, and before us to get on the bus. And then we got on the bus, it was like dark. It was dark at this point. So we got on the bus, it was like a charter bus, and yeah, got on that bus, took that bus ride, and then during this time I had a CD Walkman, so I was listening to I had a couple of CDs, of course, that I brought with me, but the main CD that I was listening to back in the day on my CD player, CD Walkman player, was the Jagged Edge CD. Now I forgot the name of it, but whatever, Jagged Edge CD that came out in like 1999 or 2000 or whatever. And that's the one I was listening to. Like on replay, that is a good ass CD. The one that was like married, let's get married, and like baby. Y'all know that CD. But yeah. So I was listening to that, had them batteries, I mean, yeah. So yeah, in a later video I go into detail about the what my experience was in the military. But I just wanted to touch base and be like, yeah, I'm in the military. Well, I was in the military. I am a veteran. And it's funny because when I emailed the Veterans Department to get my DD 214, to get my DD 214 or whatever to have, because I really didn't even get one, I didn't even get one. So I really didn't think it was like that much important because I had my military ID, but of course that had expired. So years ago, I emailed the Veterans Affairs, and I was like, yeah, my DD 214, gave them all my information. So they emailed me back a couple of days later, was like, we don't even got no record for you being in the military. And I was like, what? And I'm like, I was in the military. Like, no, I was in the military. So they was like, you got to go to this place and email me something. Was like, check this place and see that they have it. And I checked that place, like email, and they ain't even have it. So I'm like, what kind of games y'all playing? But I'm thinking it's because I ain't I ain't raised my hand really. I ain't say that whole oath. I ain't take no oath. Like nobody is in control of me in the military. Like shoot, I'm in control of the freaking military. But I had to experience that. I can't be quote unquote in control of something or over top of something if I don't even know what I'm on top of. You know what I'm trying to say? If that makes sense. Like I had to experience being in the military, going to basic training, being around a whole lot of people from different ethnicities and backgrounds and just everything, and experience that hunger and that motivation, that family life. Like it, man, that military, the basic training part of it. Like I would go back just for the basic training because you get motivated and everybody is on the same team. It's no competition. Everybody, trying to complete a goal. Like this is the people who have your back. Like you got to have their back, and like life. This is life. If you out on the field, everybody got them M16s and it's a war zone. You trust in, your comrade, your family. You become family, more than your family. So I'm like, all that means something. So it basic training, yeah, I would go back for that. I like that motivation. I like the I don't know, it's like I said, no competition. It's just uplifting. Everybody motivate everybody because we all on the same team. We all had the same agenda in basic training. But of course, years later, after, I did my time, I, realized some stuff like, damn, especially watching the news now and what's going on. I'm just like, it's just a control thing. It's a mental control, because what are y'all fighting for? What is these soldiers fighting a battle for? They don't even know nothing about. And it's just so much of, you gotta do. You can't ask no questions. If a sergeant or whoever tell you to go in this house and ransack and shoot up, it's like you got to do that. You can't ask no questions. So I'm just like, that's a mind control. That's being programmed. So I'm like, nah. And I see that's what's going on now. It's just like you got to just follow orders. You can't even question. So I'm like, nope. But at the time, when I signed up, like I said, I was like out the blue. That was out the blue. But when I signed up, I didn't really know too much of that. Like, there was a deeper meaning to just being a soldier, and that was a meaning like you is mind effed, just do, follow my command, just do. So I'm like, nah, I'm above that. I give the command, but I had to experience it, But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now about that, and I'll go into more detail about the stuff that I had to do, what I experienced, the shots that were giving, tongue rings, graduation, sharpshooters, like all that. Yeah, graduation. Yeah, I go into that in a later video. Like I said, I ain't trying to make this long, and then go into Fort Lee. in another video also, and that's where the training for the job was 92 Alpha. So yeah, all right, that's it for this black box video. All right, until next time.